605 is going to have us pretty much read numbers from a user, store them, read 10 numbers from the user, store them in an array. In fact, and this is something that isn't clear little in the textbook, we need to read 10 different numbers from the user. So each time we are going to read one of those numbers, we are going to make sure that it's not already in the array. And if it is, we are going to store it. So here's how we are going to do this. Well, first thing, we are going to declare the data we need to work on. So we are working on integer numbers. So here's an array of integers, and I'm going to create it here so that we have now an array of 10 integers available to us. Because we might end up with 10 different numbers or less, we are going to also keep track of how many numbers are different, how much is our array filled up with a variable named size. And then we are going to enter a counter-controlled loop. You will notice that we use a lot of counter-controlled loop when dealing with array because we know the size of those array. So we are going to do here 10 iterations. Okay? This is what it's telling us. If we have an array of 10 elements, we're going to do 10 iterations. Next step, we need to read a number from the user. So we need a scanner. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to declare a scanner S, new scanner based on system.in. And now I can use it inside of my loop. cs.next int is going to be assigned, and I'm going to use a variable, a temporary variable, to just hold the number I just read, because I don't know yet if I want to put it in my array or not. Okay, this is really important. At this point, I read a value from the user, but I'm not sure whether it's going to go in the array or not. It's going to go in the array only if among all the other values I stored in my array, none of them is equal to n. So how do I check this? I'm going to need an inner loop. I'm going to need a loop to be able to explore every number that has been entered in my array and compare it to the value of n. How do I know how many numbers have been entered in the array yet? I use the size counter. Okay, so I'm going to do a counter control repetition loop again. Start j equals 0, as long as j is lesser than size, strict, and j++. Notice that for my first iteration, no matter what number you give me, since size is going to be 0, this for loop here is never going to trigger. I'll never enter the for loop itself, therefore allowing me to move on to the next step and say, well, I didn't find anything that was the same value than n in the array, I can move on. So that means that I would need something like a boolean is already there. This boolean I'm going to initialize to false. By default, the new value is not in the array. Only if I find it during my exploration here, I'm going to change this boolean. So if numbers index j equal n, which is the number I just read, then I'm going to say, and I'm going to add a curly brace here, then I'm going to say is already there equal true. Else, well, I don't even need to really implement an else. There's nothing that's going to happen. Just to avoid wasting iteration for nothing, I'll break out of the loop as soon as I found that my number is already there. Outside of the loop, two things might have happened. Okay, I might have just completed my loop without finding the value. Therefore, is already there should be still false. Or I might figure out that is already there is true. So if not is already there, if already there is false, then not is already there will result in true. Okay, so I'm testing here if my value is a new value. If it is, number of index size equal value. Size plus plus. I'm saying I have a new element in my array. Am I done? Well, almost. Once I am done entering this number, I can display them back on the screen. Okay, once again, counter-controlled loop. This should become a pattern now. Okay, I'm not going to display the content of the whole array, simply because I might not have used the 10 element. I'm just going to display all the elements that are different. So that's going to be, the size is going to be expressed by the variable size. And I'm going to print, not println, I'm going to print the value of numbers index I, followed by a white space just to separate the value from one another. And that should do it at the end of my program. Just as a bonus, I'm going to do a system.out.println just to clear pretty much, oops, a lot of typo there, just to clear the line. Go to the next line, okay? And here we go. Save, waiting for the modified flag to go away. I'm going to javac compile this exercise. Okay, line 3, we have public class. What did I do? Okay, this is like not paying proper attention. Sorry about that. I took the file name with the Java thing. Must have like confused maybe a couple of you. I'm going to now go back to Conqueror, compile again. Variable value, cannot find symbol variable value online, 25. So I must have confused that with the value n, yes. Okay, pay attention again, compile again. Apparently didn't save correctly. Going back to the code. Okay, the code just took a couple of seconds to save. I'm back now to Conqueror. I'm going to compile again. Compilation goes without problem. Try to run E605. Okay, so I'm supposed to give numbers. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to give some repeats. 3, 6. Then I give a new number. 9, 10. And the value that have been stored in my array are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the program skipped the 3 and 6, which were redundant, stored 9, stored 10. Here's the code again, and we are done with this exercise.